congressional battleground, and today we're focusing on the 23rd Congressional District, where Congressman Bill Owens, a Democrat, is trying to hold on the seat that he won in a special election last year. He replaced Army Secretary John McHugh and robbed the GOP of a district it had controlled for over a century. Now, joining us tonight is one of the Republican candidates who is trying to unseat Owens. Doug Hoffman lost to Owens in that special election. He is now running again on the GOP and conservative lines, and he's joining us from Watertown tonight. Doug, thanks very much for being with us.
My pleasure to be here, Liz.
So during that special election, there was national attention. You had Fred Thompson in Watertown endorsing you. You had the Club for Growth pumping in $1 million+ into your campaign. You ousted moderate, or forced from the race, moderate Assemblywoman Didi Scazafava, and yet you lost to Owens because there were still 3 people on the ballot, too late to get her off the ballot. This year, not so much national attention. Why not?
Well, as you know, there's 435 races across the country, and last year during my special election, I think there was only 1 or 2 congressional races. So certainly eyes are focused other places this year. And New York has a very late primary, September 14th, so we have not been in the limelight yet.
But the problem also is that there's not as much support for you as there was during that special. After Didi Scazafava was pushed out because she was deemed too moderate by, I think, the conservative Tea Party movement that wanted to make a point, a message that they wanted to send to the National Party in Washington. Nevertheless, you know, I think that a lot of people were sending money, a lot of people were, I don't know, paying a lot of attention. And yet, this time, you don't have the same kind of support. In fact, Matt Doheny has the support of the local GOP leaders.
Well, I don't have the support of the leaders. These are the same people that brought you Didi Scazafava last year. And they have chosen to endorse Matt Doheny, a Wall Street lawyer, who, by the way, also supported Didi Scazafava last year, and actually gave her a $2,400, the maximum contribution, in October when the rest of the conservative world was endorsing and supporting me.
Well, you know, actually, though, we're not seeing the same energy that we saw the last time around. There are some of the leaders in the Republican Party who complain that you don't have the fire in the belly. Do you?
Absolutely, Liz. I've been out campaigning since January, going throughout the district, meeting people. And what you don't see and what you don't hear is I still have the grassroots support that I had last year. Last year, as you know, I got close to 70,000 votes in the election. I only lost to Bill Owens by 3,000 votes. And that grassroots support is still here this year, and they are still supporting me. And when you look at that close to 70,000 votes, the Conservative Party line, the Conservative Party in this district only has 5,000 registered voters. So you know that at least 60 to 65,000 of those votes that I got last year came from the Republican Party. And I believe that those people are still behind me, especially when you look at the fact that we took a poll a week and a half ago, and I'm running 32% ahead of Matt Doheny. He's, in our poll, was lucky to break 20%, and I'm in the mid-50s. And that shows that the grassroots Republicans are behind me and are supporting me.
Who conducted that poll?
That was conducted by John McLaughlin's group, a national pollster and a very respected pollster.
And what was the head-to-head between yourself and Bill Owens?
We only did it for the likely Republican primary voters to see how the primary was running.
Aren't we risking the same thing that we saw last year, which is to say, if you lose the GOP primary to Matt Doheny and you're still on the conservative line, doesn't that just recreate what there was in the special election? 2 people splitting the conservative and GOP vote, allowing a path to victory for the Democrat Bill Owens?
Well, that's a hypothetical, Liz. As I just said, I'm running 32% ahead, and I'm going to do everything I possibly can to keep that lead and and win the Republican primary, because my goal is to reunite the Republican Party and the Conservative Party, and with both lines I'll be easily able to defeat Bill Owens in November.
But what if you, hypothetically speaking, don't win the GOP primary? Will you drop out of the race and endorse the winner, Matt Doheny, if in fact he wins?
At 32% ahead, I'm going to win this primary, and I'm going to win the general election in November.
Well, I would love to see this poll, because, and all of its, glory, because at this point we're citing a poll that's not public, that was done by somebody who is working for your campaign. You paid for the poll, did you not?
Well, absolutely, but have you seen a poll released by Doheny? If he had better numbers, he would have them out. We have a very legitimate and scientific poll, and we're very encouraged by that. And it's, as I said, going around the district, I have the grassroots support. I have the grassroots out volunteering as they did last year, working very hard on my campaign. All around the district, and it shows, and the people are there.
Doug, how exactly would you and Matt Doheny different, do you think, voting in Congress, assuming that you were there or he was there? I mean, what is the difference when voters are choosing between one and the other? Well,
besides the fact that he supported Dee Dee Scazafava, and as we know,
but that's not a vote in Congress, right? I mean, that's not anything that would have any bearing on the voters who are living in your district. I'm talking about the jobs bill, for example, or the health care bill.
Sure. Well, the main difference between Matt Doheny and I is that the fact that I'm from Main Street and not Wall Street. I grew up in this district. I was educated here. I served in the Army. I actually trained at Fort Drum. I started my businesses in this district. I was married in this district. I raised 3 children who I also still live in this district. I have 4 grandchildren. I have my family and we run over 13 businesses in this district. I am a CPA who represents over 400 businesses and 1,000 clients throughout this district. I have 5 offices that goes from the eastern side of this district all the way over to Watertown, and I work with these people. I have volunteered on many community boards, and through those boards and my businesses, I've actually created jobs in this district. So I am one of the people of this district. I know the problems. I know how hard it is to work here. And I've been here most of my adult life, working and trying to survive with the people in the district.
I'm sorry,
and
wait.
I can take that to Washington, and I know how to vote to help the people in this district with the most important issues of the day, which is the economy and creating jobs through small businesses and the farms that exist in the district.
Doug, didn't you just move into the district, back into the district? You bought a house in the district. You weren't living there as of the special election, if I remember correctly.
I have lived in the district most of my adult life. In 2002, Lake Placid was gerrymandered out of the district. I still had offices, 5 offices throughout the district that I worked in daily, and I've always had a connection there. And yes, I just bought a house in Saranac Lake, my hometown. I've moved back home to get back across the gerrymandered district.
I see. I'm still not clear exactly on where you and Matt Doheny differ on the issues. I understand that your backgrounds are different, but where exactly can you point to that you would vote differently than your Republican primary opponent?
Well, I think that's a major difference, Liz, is that I've actually created jobs in this district, and I know what it takes to create a job in this district.
But
that's a major difference. But if you want a policy issue, one of the major issues is that I am pro-life and Matt Doheny is pro-choice. The second issue is that Matt Doheny supports earmarks in pork barrel spending, and I do not. And I think those are 2 major issues that define the differences between us. And I think that if you look at our actions, which speaks louder than words, you'll see that I've been a true conservative all my life. And I haven't just changed to say what the voters want to hear. I am a true conservative, and when I'm in Washington, I will be a true conservative, and I will be working for the people. I am the people's candidate, and when I get to Washington, I will make sure that I am doing what the people want in the 23rd district.
Well, and just explain then how the people of the district in the 23rd Congressional District would be better off with yourself and not Bill Owens.
They will be a lot better off with me because Bill Owens is another politician that made promises to the people in order to get elected. And once he got elected, he broke those promises. And Liz, he did that within the first hour of being on the floor in Congress, where he voted for the health care bill. And within that bill, he broke at least 3 campaign promises, if not more. He promised the people of the 23rd District that he would not vote for anything that would raise taxes on the middle class. He would not vote for anything that would increase taxes for small businesses, and he would not vote for anything that would reduce Medicare benefits. And he did all 3 within 1 hour of being on the floor. And unfortunately, Bill Owens is exactly what I predicted last year. He's Nancy Pelosi's puppet, and he's going to vote for the Democrat agenda, which is spend and tax, and regulate.
Well, we will be having Matt Doheny on the show on Friday to be answering some of your claims here, and we're scheduled to speak to Bill Owens as well, hopefully this week. In the meantime, I want to thank you very much, Doug Hoffman, for joining us.